Hello everyone, this is part number 7. We're going straight to Malmouth. We managed to get rid of most of the side quests that I had. At this point it's just steps of torment, but I'm not sure if I
Give you a good price on what I've got left. Put it to good use. Come see what's left of my wares.
if you need something from Kaiman's Chosen, you don't have to going in their hideout. There is a vendor here and homestead. I just need a little bit more Kaiman's sacred oil for damage purposes. And I'm ready to Actually, I forgot to swap some gear pieces. And also I think it's time to change the medal. I think definitely aggressive of attack. That means this medal is gonna scales with me. It comes with a very high roll on the percentage offensive ability, 7. Usually for such a low level item, this is a pretty high roll. And I think rest of the gear is okay. But now I'm gonna crit more often. I didn't even saw this hero. Just got instantly deleted. I think we can skip Dahlia's questline. Usually her questline worth it at ultimate. There is a legendary weapon as a reward. But here at normal pretty often I skip her. Her questline is kinda annoying. But you can easily find her at this area if you want to do it. But you have to trigger this questline by bring her journal back to her. It's very important to kill all the sentinels. They have a chance to drop clusters, shards, basically a higher version of the crystals. Here most of the mobs, they are champions, but they are very low life. So Malmouth resistance is a not so hard expansion. There is some very deadly approaches, but they are not like constantly. Next point in iron is gonna be this one for flat elemental damage add to my weapons, which apply for both of them. And usually this add tons of damage. It was like 7.2k DPS, now it's up to 8 plus with all the procs. Flat damage early on works slightly better, because as you can see my gear give me some pity numbers like 21% fire damage, 27 in the shoulders, etc, etc, and just this oil give me 80. So any sort of flat damage that you can on a auto attacking build, either melee or range, it's always a huge improvement. That's why this searing hand mortar, they add much more value than if it was a conflagration or some rare suffix. This 23 and 27 each, it's multiplied by all the gear and stuff, devotions and skill. and I didn't even start focus so much on damage. At my skill tree I didn't pick flame touched max, which gonna add significant amount of fire damage, which usually during leveling is gonna be my main focus, and cold and lighting it's just as a support. You can play different type of purifiers at the end game. At the moment best approach is a Dagalon Destroyer, and the next very good one is a Pistol and Shield. It's a Stronghold, which is not bad at all as well, if you want to be a little bit more safe. But for me, Purifier's always been on a offensive class, so probably I'm gonna focus on Dagalon Destroyer set if I manage to found it. We do that much of a clear because this comes with Black Legion reputation and we kinda need them. They have one of the best augments for endgame. Here is a very important detonation site. For normal difficulty, this is the only, from now on, this is the only relevant source of crystals. Also, this area is part of my reputation grinding route, because probably I'm gonna switch to Vendetta as a relic for a little bit more damage. This is a very defensive option as a holders. Also mutators at this point pretty bad for me. This is reckless and corrupted. There are not much chaos damage based monsters here, but still rolling a corruptor is a very bad mutator for most cases. You can see how good is the damage. Usually Galacross is a very tanky boss, and I just delete him in a 5 seconds. Currently auto-attacking builds, at least in my opinion, is considered meta. They're just too good, especially Nightblade based, like Cold Trickster, Belgothian Blade Master and few more. Even according to the softcore elite, Ether Reaper is pretty good as well. We reach our destination point.
damn good. As far the black, I don't know. So, yeah. If you're serious, the ethereal.
Captain Wilford never heard about Black Legion, which is kinda strange because he's in the military as well. But it's what it is. Galacross Dope, a very good item. And actually I got extremely bad roll. Even on the chaos to fire conversion. But keep in mind, if you don't have anything relevant, this is probably your best leveling option. Unfortunately I got Shroud of Ruin, which is ideally I want double elemental or some defensive stats, not this garbage. But this armor comes to 3 to explosive strike, which is a boost. And in general is better armor than my fanatic overcoat, but still 7 total speed and the flat life at this point works okay for me. If this was a better roll, probably I'm gonna swap to this armor, but this one is terrible and I'm not sure if I want to farm.
Iron well spec.
If I want to farm Galacross, probably when I start my reputation route, I'm gonna give him few rounds. The problem with him, he is 50-50 to drop this armor and one more. Here the problem starts. Even after 2000 hours in this game, it's so hard for me to navigate this map. Especially if I need to take full benefit from the reputation, I have to bring out your death quest, which is quite annoying. These wagoons, some of them is very hard to be found. So it's good to check almost every corner. This is one of the most interesting quests in Grimdown. This guy is 50-50, doesn't matter which dialogue options you choose. At the end he can be hostile, doesn't matter what. Or if you choose the right options, he can willing to port to the Malmouth resistance hideout, but as I say it's 50-50, that's why I always kill him. Pointless to waste my time. And I get my experience immediately here instead of... The mainly difference is he's gonna give you some components, but they gonna be normal ones. Nothing special, and I am already drawn in. Basically I have tons of the normal ones, so my advice is just kill him, don't bother to because you're gonna waste minute or two to figure out the right conversation options, and at the end he's gonna be hostile, doesn't matter what. We got Zeal, Spell Shock, Shoulders, and some random craps. That's the reason why I kill every single sentinel. Clusters, they are very valuable and hardcore. Now the third cart with corpses is usually somewhere here. We have to make a little bit detour. That's why I hate this quest. But according to unlock the whole quest line, I have to finish it. And navigating here is just terrible. There is an old connection here, so I have to go back. Deal with the myrmidons. These guys, they use mirror, which makes them immortal for a couple of seconds. And here is the lagoon. Their fixed spawn location, if I'm not mistaken. Sometimes this can be a little bit here, but I think not so far away from the general area. And this boss has a fixed spawn location at the first kill. After that he's gonna be somewhere in the town.
I was beginning to read.
Our friend Creed.
Well, you. I've spoken Korean.
Now is ideal moment to bring back my last quest from the homestead quest line. Basically to bring food to these guys. Experience wise is crap, but reputation's pretty good. 1500 with Devil's Crossing and 500 with Homestead is always nice on a single quest, which is just basically I have to talk with. Next area is much better than the previous one, comes with tons of side quests.
The outpost resistance has.
There you are. Well discussed.
Let's spoke to the captain. Take this quest. Take Sivonda's memory as well. We got friendly with the Malmouth. There is no vendor at this point, and the next when I come back there is gonna be a vendor. He sells another oil that gives you damage to Ethereals and less damage from them, so this is a nice option just when you go through this act. But I don't think there is something scary enough, especially with 14 points Inquisitor Seal. This absorption is enough for me to be practically immortal during the campaign. Doesn't matter what I encounter, apart maybe from some dungeons, but I'm pretty sure this CO is enough to keep me alive even in the hardest dungeons. Remember this detonation site, you have to trigger it. That's gonna shorten your backtracking a lot when you pick the last quest from the quest line. This is first supply point. Oh, their fixed spawn location. We're gonna send this directly. After that we're gonna use the shortcut. All the monstrosity they did here is quite disturbing. If you follow the series, I explained almost the whole lore around Malmouth. But basically Ethereals find a way to reproduce more Ethereals by keeping young woman captive. Also they find a way to speed up the reproduce process, but you're gonna see that later. This is the most dumb NPC in the game, Richter. He can be saved, but he decided just to die. He has a store, like a grocery store at the Malmouth, and there is all his wealth, which he basically gives to us as a final gift. We got honored with Black Legion. That means better rings and some early components as well. We have to check our dynamites. Seems quite okay. Even if you don't have enough to trigger this detonation site, there is a guaranteed dynamite here. That's gonna save you one rift portal to go back. This is our last time we get 3 points as well. That's enough to get static strike, a little bit more damage on top. Also knockdown, which is a good. And here is the second supply point that you need. This boss is guaranteed spawn, but have a different spawn locations. He is not scary, but can be surrounded by a lot of enemies. And here is when you can be deceived. Here is the actual path, but usually, as you can see, the map leads you southeast, and you can easily miss this door over here. But always remember, when you reach detonation site for a Richter grocery store, just go straight east and you're gonna see this door. This is the right spot. When I play this game for the first time, I circling around like crazy until I realize I do something wrong, and basically that's it. I didn't pay attention. So now's the moment when I'm gonna it's a very important, never forget this. Is quite expensive detonation site, but it's a very important one. Otherwise you have to walk like 5 minutes straight for the last quest for normal, because usually you're not gonna trigger the and Malmouth resistance is a very important faction for elemental based builds like mine today, also Nightblade in general. There is a mini boss here. I'm gonna look for him because that's reputation. This is another point in iron, which is boost to damage, resistance and armor. A pretty good point. The proc is very nice as well, comes to impair, zyme and confuse. Just confuse, sorry. But use weapon damage, which means I'm gonna leech every time that thing procs. That was a pretty clean kill. There is nothing that I want here anymore. Basically I need like 3-4 levels to unlock my next resistance shred. Here is 2 NPCs that you want to save. They're pretty straightforward. First one is in this house. This is another very important vendor. This is Hiram. This guy sells rare materials and all the blueprints. That's basically for mid-game. So you can refresh him constantly until you get whatever you need. Because usually at game relics they need either the small relics and the mid-game relics as well to be crafted. So at some point you're definitely gonna need all of his wares. But I'm not gonna spend fortune for stuff that I don't need. And basically everything's gonna drop sooner or later. But this is, for example, if you need Juggernaut or basically every single relic that is 1 to plus, 1 to Oath Keeper, 1 to exception make few of the relics, that's basically faction based. This is the location for Yvonne's memory, and this is a secret, basically one short chest. I'm gonna show you how to navigate Crown Hill properly as well. This map can be very long if you don't know how to do it, and very short if you are
So this is preliminary.
unknowledged. So first vent is over here. Just remember the rift point. And just come straight. So rift, basically east, and you're gonna see it on the minimap. Next we immediately go to center of Crown Hill. The idea is to ignore the east part, and that's what I'm gonna do. There is a guaranteed totem here, sometimes next to the devotion shrine, which is always nice. I'm gonna clear a little bit before I summon extra spawns. Here I can aggro the mini boss. I didn't, so I'm gonna leave it like it is. So that's another good stuff. I'm gonna attach this to Flame Touch. I'm gonna check if my devotions, all of them, have a skill attached, so they can level with me. Just double check. This is a acid pistol, not for us. Gonna clear the boss as well. No chance. Valexteria armor is usually lighting based. After I kill her, I'm gonna go this way. Treasure trove, why not? I'm level 50. This can drop useful stuff, and it was totally worth it. Blood of Caton is the rarest material. So this is one of the possible approach. Usually I did it a little bit wrong. I picked the wrong house. That's gonna net me a little bit backtrack, but not as much as usual. But this route completely ignores the east part of Crown Hill. Basically, if you do it correctly, you go here, you clear this vent, Continue forward and clear this vent. Now I did it wrong, I clear first this vent, so I have to go back, clear this vent and come back again. But if you use this part of the map, basically west from the shrine, you're gonna do it correctly. We need the first floor here. And here is the vent. Basically I make another detour. I did it wrong, but remember when you approach the rift, first clear this vent, take the shrine, immediately take this part of the map, take the vent over here and take the last one over here, and you're gonna be okay. This is basically kinda the best speedrun approach. Now the gates open, we can take care of Theodin Marcell and his slaves. As you can see how I approach the game, I'm gonna explain a little bit of my stats allocation and skill allocation. I am a hardcore expert. I have tons of hardcore playthroughs in this game, all of them solo self-found on a complete erased save. Completely from the scratch. So usually if I have enough damage, I focus on mastery and utility skills. As you can see, I have just 1 point in Fire Strike. I maxed out my clear skill because in Grim Dawn, especially during leveling, clear is much more important than the single target damage. Later on I'm gonna max out this, of course, because I'm gonna do a lot of farming and stuff, but for now, with all the gear that I had, especially my crafting guns, they always comes with 2 to Fire Strike, doesn't matter which blueprint I pick. Especially if you stay with Duncan. Here is the same, completely maxed 3 utility skill and resistance shred. That's how I advise you to approach the game, especially in a hardcore, in a softcore, doesn't really matter. Again, it's good to have an idea behind all of your steps, not just brainlessly max out skills. When I focus on mastery and major and few main skills, I have enough stats to equip everything that I found, instead of waiting couple of levels. During leveling, usually the most priceless stat is a physique. It comes with defensive ability and life. Even if you play a hardcore caster, you still rely on physique to stay alive. Very rarely people play around spirit. Usually endgame build is different. You want to stack spirit, especially if you are arcanist based. but I'm gonna explain this a little bit more when I play a CDR caster playthrough, which probably is gonna be the next series, just to show another playstyle.
Arrogant human, to think that you can enter my domain, my kingdom, and topple my greatest creation.
You can hear his voice. This is definitely a madman. He totally deserved to die for the monstrosity he did here. So here is the most disturbing thing in Grimdawn. This is basically a maternity ward. All of these women, they are barely... I basically burned the whole place. But you can see it's very disturbing. They speed up the pregnancy process, and all these imps, they are actually babies. All of these women, they connected to this monster device over here just to reproduce ethereals. It's a very disturbing as a view. But Grimdawn usually is a very gore game, so that's why it's not for everyone. There is another encounter, completely random. This ethereal guy, usually I kill him. He has a hero orb, and also have a chance to drop tainted brain matter, which is, if you save him, there is no impact. He just disappears and that's it. That's why I prefer to kill him for the extra loot. Sometimes he drops quite nice stuff. Like this case, he drops me a rare material. Let's take care of Theodin and close the episode after this kill. First phase completely stationary. He's not very deadly. He summons some mats and stuff. I'm gonna step a little bit so my aura's gonna work on him. I'm gonna use time between animations to place my seals. Second phase, nothing special again. And usually on a high DPS build, this boss is melted, even being 57 level. You can dodge his thunder. He's gonna activate the crystals. This is the thunder. His drop basically auto attacking weapon for reapers, eater reapers. But this boss on a caster or ranged build like mine is completely fine. Usually mostly melee builds have a problem with him cause several mechanics. And this is actually a very nice piece for this build. This is Obsidian Grasps, comes with better attack speed. I'm gonna do this swap. We're gonna lose vitality, but that's because the component. It's impossible to have just one of those. I just can't see it. It's probably on a different page. Yeah, it's here. That's it. A pretty sweet find. Comes with a flame touched and temper. So I got a little bit more damage. Let's gonna bring back all the quests that we take.
Tell me. Can't afford to.
Rune armor thing în afară, actually. This is pretty lucky. This is extremely lucky if I'm honest.
Good work out there. Good on. I believe.
That's unbelievable. But this is immediately swap. Bring back the memory. Next time when you come here, there is gonna be a chest as a gift from her.
Captain Will, I was. We've been
And she's gonna give you the last quest for normal. But I have to sell some stuff.
See anything you like?
There is a lot of stuff that is good to be placed in the shared stash. I think it's time to sell this Cronley's Signet. This one as well. Praetorian set is a very good leveling set after 50. I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna move the materials in this side just to not constantly looking for them. And I'm gonna retrieve my... We lost some life, but we got a lot of armor and damage because this is a high level base. Also we got another aura around us, which we're gonna test in the next quest. But when you come back, there is gonna be a vendor.
Come see what's left of my wares.
As you can see, he sells a lot of stuff. Conflagration is a very good relic if you are a caster. Is a nice option because one to demo. But I prefer Vendetta at this point, which I believe this guy sells. Yep, but we're gonna need Honored with them. This is a very good blueprint. But probably I'm gonna stick with the Gunslinger Talisman for a quite while. This is another gunner. Kinda armor. It's another good option. Comes with a bursting rounds and stuff. But armor of Ignafar is just too good. So, and here is why this detonation site is very important. It's gonna save me tons of walking. And it's a good thing if you are some sort of melee character, you can reset the game so you have monster that you can charge on to speed up the process. But I am a gunner, I don't have such a skill, so I have to walk. And it's better for me to be without monster to block my path. But if you are a Nightblade and so, you can basically use this tip. Now we're gonna test the new stuff. Even if you don't find such a good armor piece, you can use Fanatic Overcoat or a faction based or Galacross MI. You're gonna be okay. The main benefit from this armor is I'm not gonna change it soon because of the high armor and the high stats as well. Basically take care of my chaos resistance, so I can do some swaps here and there. This is done, and that's put me very close to the Vendetta.
Was the mission? Oh, I always knew I had for now. Come see what's left of my wares.
I can do some farms probably off recordings just to
Put it to good use.
but basically this is for today. Thank you everyone for watching. See you in the next one.